Good morning. Today is August 19th, Sunday, 2018, and this is He Sees Us All YouTube channel. And today I would like to talk to you about 11/11/18, 11/11/2018, and 11/11/1918. I'd like to touch in whether or not these dates are significant, whether or not they point to us being in a simulation, and possibly whether or not this is just the universal balance of things. Now, this is Archduke Franz Ferdinand, and his assassination was what began World War I in 1914, I believe. I could be wrong. Both he and his wife Sophie were murdered, and they were murdered in this car that was said to be cursed. The plate of this car had read A111118. He was assassinated on June 28, 1914, and he was the heir to the falling Austro-Hungarian Empire. His killers were either Serbian nationalists or possibly Yugoslav nationalists. Historians are kind of divided on who, but they know whoever it was wanted to turn Austrian-controlled Bosnia into a new Slav state. The guns and bombs that were used to kill the Archduke were supplied by this man, Colonel Apis. He was the head of the Serbian military intelligence. And this was what provoked Austria-Hungary into declaring war on Serbia, and Europe had later entered into the war, which turned it into a world war. Now, the interesting thing, Franz had survived the first attempt on his life on that same day, and he had emerged unscathed from an explosion of a bomb that bounced off the folded roof of his convertible and exploded under a car that was behind him in his motorcade. The bomb had injured several members of the Archduke's entourage. The Archduke felt bad about this and wanted to visit them in the hospital, so he did. And his chauffeur didn't know the area very well, so he took him on a route that took him directly past his murderer. And once he was en route, he realized he was lost, he got scared, and he stopped the car. Where he stopped the car was only 6 feet away from... He was only 6 feet away from this man. This is Gavrilo Princip. He was the murderer, and he... thought it was just a stroke of luck that the man he was supposed to assassinate was standing right in front of him. But there was thousands of people surrounding the Archduke, so this man wanted to use a bomb to kill him, but couldn't, so he had resorted to pulling out his pistol. He pulled out his pistol, and he fired. And in his own words, he says, "Where I aimed, I do not know." Then he added that he raised his gun against the automobile without aiming, and even turned his head as he shot. So now the Archduke had just survived an assassination attempt on his life, but in a final destination scenario, it's like death was still coming for him. He just by chance got brought down the road where his assassinator was standing. He stopped right in front of the man, and the man didn't even aim, wildly fired the bullets, and it struck both the Archduke and his wife. It's amazing. What a coincidence. Like, he had escaped death only moments before, just to walk right into it moments later. The killer was said to only have fired 2 bullets. One of those bullets struck his wife Sophie in the stomach, and it killed her almost instantly. The other bullet struck the Archduke in the neck, severing his jugular, absolutely killing him instantly. There was nothing that could have been done for either one of them to save him, and there was a doctor that was on site relatively quickly, and he said there was absolutely nothing that he could have done. Now, it was widely believed that Franz Ferdinand was going to die within a year after he had taken down a white stag. He had shot this white stag, and many people, tribespeople and townspeople, believed that either he or a close family member was going to die within a year because this was said to be a cursed thing. Now, the Archduke was an avid hunter, but a hunter isn't exactly what I would call him. All those sticks they're holding, he used to have all those people beat these animals and chase him right into his waiting gun. He's said to have killed 2,140 animals in one day and 272,439 animals in a lifetime. He was not a good man, far from it. Now, the interesting thing about the car is that it is said, I'm not so sure how true these stories are, but the Archduke's story is absolutely true. It said that everybody who owned the car after the Archduke ended up in a final destination type death. The car ended up in a Vienna museum where a curator named Karl Brenner said, after the armistice, the newly appointed governor of Yugoslavia had the first car restored to first-class condition. But after 4 accidents and the loss of his right arm, he felt the vehicle should be destroyed. His friend, Dr. Serkis, agreed. Scoffing at the notion that the car could be cursed, he drove it happily for 6 months till the overturned vehicle was found on the highway with the doctor's crushed body beneath it. Another doctor became the next owner, but when his superstitious patients began to desert him, he hastily sold it to a Swiss race driver. In a road race in the Dolomites, the car threw him over a stone wall and he died of a broken neck. A well-to-do farmer acquired the car, which stalled one day on the road to market, while another farmer was towing it for repairs. The vehicle suddenly crawled into full power and knocked the tow car aside in a careening rush down the highway. Both farmers were killed. Tibor Hirschfeld, the last private owner, decided that all the old car needed was a less sinister paint job. He had it repainted in a cheerful blue shade and invited 5 friends to accompany him to a wedding. Hirschfeld and 4 of his guests died in a gruesome head-on collision. By this time, the government had had enough. They shipped the rebuilt car to the museum, but one afternoon, Allied bombers reduced the museum to smoking rubble. Nothing was found of Karl Brenner and the haunted vehicle. Nothing, that is, but of a pair of dismembered hands clutching the fragment of a steering wheel. Now, that story can't be true because the car, it's still in a museum. It's a bit of an exaggeration. I can't say that none of those stories are true. The car may have been restored. Part of it may have been true. The Archduke's coincidences in the car are absolutely true and documented. Now, this is a reconstruction of the plate, and this is what's interesting. Because his death, which was on June 28th, 1914, was what careened us into World War I. But on the plate, it read A111118, and it can be broken down, and armistice is the day that World War I had ended. So it can be broken down into Armistice Day, November 11th, 1918. 11/11/18. Now, I wonder if that date was always tied into that car, because it was just always going to be. Maybe this is just the balance of the universe, that the date was tied onto the car, and that was the date, like the car and the Archduke is what started the war, but the end of it was tied to the war. Now, my question is, if the universe is so structurally balanced, what if 11/11/18 last time marked the end of a world war? But this time, for it to be balanced properly, would have to mark the beginning of the next world war. It seems to me day by day we are careening towards the next big event. And I've found evidence for 11/11/18 in several different places. I see this number in even 11/11/11, like people who see 11/11 on the clock and they make a wish. 11/11/18 can be broken down into an 11/11/11. You have 11, 11, and then 2018, 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 8 is 11. You have 11, 11, 11. Is this the pillars appearing physically in reality? Is this our warning? Is this God's way of telling us the time is almost up? I don't know. I don't like predicting dates. I just found significance in this date, and I wanted to throw it out there for you guys. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. Let me know what you would like to see. Let me know if you like what I'm doing, if you'd like to see more of what I'm doing, or if there's any changes that I could make. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And remember, love one another, stay faithful, stay vigilant, and be blessed.